Welcome, dear listener, to another quiet journey through the dream beneath the world. Every stone, every silence carries a memory older than history itself. Long before our own time, entire worlds rose and fell, leaving behind fragments that whisper softly in the night. These calm explorations are here to guide you gently into rest, carrying you deeper with each passing word. So find a comfortable place, close your eyes, and allow yourself to drift into sleep, into dreams, and into forgotten history. Tonight we descend below the surface of the earth into realms that legends and whispers say are still alive. What if entire civilizations found safety in vast caverns, building worlds of stone and light beneath our feet? And what if those hidden peoples still exist, watching us from the shadows of the underground? Now let us begin the story. From the earliest flicker of consciousness, humanity has gazed not only at the stars, but also into the very ground beneath its feet, conjuring visions of worlds unseen. Concept of realms hidden beneath the surface of the earth, accessible only through war, the deepest caves, the darkest chasms, or the most sacred rituals is a theme that echoes through the mythologies of nearly every culture, a testament to a universal human fascination with the subterranean. This persistent motif speaks of a deep-seated curiosity about the unknown, a primal blend of awe and trepidation regarding the vast dark expanse that cradles our terrestrial existence, what compels us time and again to imagine life, spirits, and even entire civilizations thriving in the gay, profound stillness and oppressive darkness of the underworld. The ancient Greeks, masters of myth-making, gifted us with one of the most enduring portrayals of a subterranean realm, Hades. This was not merely a place of death, but a spy, complex underworld presided over by the somber god Hades, brother to Zeus and Poseidon. It was a vast kingdom shrouded in perpetual twilight, inhabited by the high shades of the departed. The journey to Hades was perilous, typically undertaken via the river Styx, fuyed by the grim Shaun, whose payment was an oboe placed beneath the tongue of the deceased. Beyond the river lay the plains of Asphodel, the fields of Elysium for the virtuous, and the fiery torments of Tartarus for the wicked. The very name Hades became synonymous with this netherworld, a shadowy mirror to the vibrant world of the living. The stories surrounding Hades were imbued with a potent blend of fear and resignation. The underworld was the inevitable destination. For all mortals, a realm where existence was a pale imitation of life, a place to be, feared, yet also understood as a fundamental part of the cosmic order. The sheer detail in these accounts, the multi-headed guardian Cerberus, the mournful Sisyphus forever rolling his stone, the eternally thirsty Tantalus, demonstrates not just a belief in an afterlife, but a profound contemplation of consequence, justice, and the nature of existence itself, all anchored to a conceptual underworld. This Hellenic vision established a foundational archetype. The underworld is a distinct, often grim domain governed by its own rulers and populated by its own inhabitants, fundamentally separate from the terrestrial sphere, yet inextricably linked to it across the Mediterranean. The ancient Egyptians conceived of the Duat, a complex and layered underworld through which the sun god Ra traveled each night. This nocturnal journey was not a simple descent, but a perilous voyage fraught with a raid, challenges, demons, and trials. The Duat was a realm of judgment and transformation, where the deceased soul or bar had to navigate a treacherous landscape, reciting 4 spells from the Book of the Dead to overcome obstacles and appease various deities. The ultimate goal was to reach the Hall of Two Truths, where the heart of the deceased was weighed against the feather of Mahat, the goddess of truth. and justice. If the scales balanced, the soul was granted eternal life in the field of reeds, a paradise mirroring the fertile Nile Valley. If not, the heart was devoured by Amit, the brew, devourer of the dead. The duat was a realm of both terror and hope, a place where one's earthly actions determined their eternal fate. It was a cyclical journey mirroring the sun's daily rebirth, emphasizing renewal and the continuity of existence even after death. The Egyptians' detailed depictions of the duat in tomb paintings and papyri reveal a profound engagement with the concept of an afterlife and a part sophisticated understanding of the spiritual journey. The duat was not merely a passive void, it was an active dynamic realm filled with beings, landscapes and divine forces that directly interacted with the deceased soul. This meticulous mapping of the underworld, complete with its dangers and pathways, suggests a high, deep-seated need to comprehend and perhaps even influence what lay beyond the veil of life, a need rooted in their understanding of the cosmos and their place within it. The indigenous cultures of the Americas offer a rich tapestry of beliefs concerning subterranean realms, often viewing the earth itself as a living entity, a great mother, with the underworld playing a crucial role in the cycles of creation and regeneration. Many traditions speak of a primordial emergence from the earth. The Zuri people of the American Southwest, for instance, recount a time when their ancestors emerged from a subterranean world, the Shalu or the lower world. This emergence was a pivotal moment in their history, marking their transition into the present world, the fourth world. Similarly, the Hopi believed that their ancestors emerged from the underworld through a series of caves. These emergencies are not simply historical accounts. They are foundational myths that establish a deep connection between the Pai people and the earth, framing the underworld as a place of origin, a womb from which life itself springs forth. Conversely, some traditions also speak of ancestors or spirits returning to the earth, re-entering the subterranean realms, reinforcing the idea of a cyclical journey and a fundamental interconnectedness between the surface and the depths. These myths often associate the underworld with fertility, the source of springs, rivers, and life-giving moisture. The Earth's hidden interior is seen as a reservoir of vital energy and a place where spirits reside. The emergence myths in particular suggest that the human journey is one of ascent, a process of leaving a more primitive, hidden existence for the challenges and opportunities of the surface world. This perspective transforms the underworld from a place solely of death and five punishment into a fertile ground of genesis, a primal source from which all life ultimately derives. The pervasive nature of these subterranean myths across vastly different cultures, geographically and historically separated, compels us to ask what underlying psychological or perhaps even ancestral factors are at play. One compelling theory posits a form of shared human consciousness, a Yian concept of the collective unconscious, where certain archetypes and narratives arise spontaneously in desperate human societies because they tap into fundamental aspects of the human psyche. The underworld, in this view, represents the repressed, the unknown, the instinctual aspects of ourselves that we often keep hidden from the light of conscious awareness. The fear of the dark, the claustrophobia associated with enclosed spaces, the vulnerability we feel when cut off from the familiar and the visible. These are primal human experiences that the underworld myth powerfully evokes and explores. It is a realm that embodies our deepest anxieties and our most profound questions about mortality and what lies beyond. Another line of thought suggests the possibility of an ancestral memory. Could these myths be distorted echoes of genuine ancient experiences or observations? While speculative, it's worth considering that early humans venturing into caves for shelter or resources might have encountered phenomena or geological formations that became the seeds of these myths. Perhaps deep cave systems with their disorienting passages, unique acoustics, and the discovery of fossilized remains or ancient artifacts fostered beliefs in hidden worlds. The sheer scale and mystery of vast unexplored cave systems, which we will explore in later chapters, could easily have inspired tales of subterranean beings or entire civilizations. The psychological underpinnings are undeniable. The underworld is a powerful symbol, a canvas onto which humanity projects its fears, its hopes, and its enduring quest for meaning. It is a realm that resonates with our biological imperative to survive, and our existential need to understand our place in the universe, both in this life and whatever may follow. The awe and terror these ancient stories inspired were not mere entertainment. They were vital cultural mechanisms for grappling with the mysteries of death, the unknown, and the very fabric of reality, all intrinsically tied to the profound enigma of what lies beneath our feet. This deep, almost instinctive connection to subterranean realms forms the bedrock of our continued fascination. A fascination that drives explorations into the heart of myth and the depths of the earth itself. 6. The enduring fascination with subterranean realms, as previously explored, takes a distinct turn when we delve into the specific legends of advanced civilizations believed to exist deep within the earth. These are not merely echoes of the departed or primal sources of creation, but rather sophisticated societies often imbued with profound wisdom, spiritual enlightenment, and astonishing technological prowess. Among the most prominent and enduring of these tales are those of Agartha and Shambhala, two fabled inner earth kingdoms that have captivated the imaginations of mystics, explorers, and theorists for centuries. These concepts represent a pinnacle of esoteric lore, weaving together threads of ancient prophecy, veiled historical accounts, and the persistent human yearning for a utopian existence hidden away from the perceived imperfections of the surface world. The genesis of the Agartha legend is often traced to the esoteric traditions of both Eastern and Western thought, though its most detailed and influential portrayals emerged prominently in the late 19th and early 20th centuries. Within these esoteric circles, Agartha is frequently depicted as a vast subterranean network of cities or a single magnificent metropolis located at the Earth's core or accessible through hidden entrances scattered across the globe. This inner realm is said to be inhabited by a highly evolved race of beings, often described as masters of cosmic knowledge, possessing advanced sciences and a deep understanding of the universe's spiritual laws. They are sometimes portrayed as the custodians of humanity's ancient wisdom, preserving secrets lost to the surface world, and occasionally intervening in human affairs to guide or protect humanity from self-destruction. The inhabitants of Agartha are often associated with a profound peace and harmony, living in a state of advanced civilization that transcends the conflict and chaos of surface dwellers. Their existence is often linked to a spiritual hierarchy with a benevolent ruler or council, overseeing their society and guiding their interactions with the outer world, however limited that interaction may be. Shambhala, on the other hand, has a more specifically Buddhist provenance originating in ancient Indian texts and gaining significant traction within Tibetan Buddhism. The name itself, Shambhala, is Sanskrit and translates roughly to place of silence or place of bliss. In Buddhist cosmology, Shambhala is often described as a hidden kingdom, a pure land or aspiritual paradise accessible only to those who are spiritually prepared or worthy. It is prophesied to be the location where the Kalachakra Tantra, a complex and profound teaching within Vajrayana Buddhism, was one revealed to humanity. The inhabitants of Shambhala are considered enlightened beings living in perfect accord with spiritual principles possessing immense wisdom 7 and compassion. Unlike Agartha, which is sometimes depicted as a literal physical civilization, Shambhala often carries a stronger, allegorical and spiritual weight, representing an inner state of enlightenment or a hidden dimension of reality accessible through deep meditation and spiritual practice. However, within Tibetan law, Shambhala is also often localized geographically, typically placed in the Himalayas or a similarly remote and inaccessible region. The belief in Shambhala is not merely a historical curiosity. It remains a vibrant part of Tibetan Buddhist practice, with prayers and meditations directed towards reaching this state of spiritual perfection and receiving its blessings. The transmission and evolution of these concepts owe much to the burgeoning interest in Eastern philosophies and the occult. During the late 19th and early 20th centuries in the West, esoteric writers, mystics, and self-proclaimed explorers played a crucial role in popularizing and elaborating upon these hidden kingdom narratives. One of the most significant figures in this regard was Helena Blavatsky, the co-founder of the Theosophical Society. In her extensive writings, particularly the Speed Secret doctrine, Blavatsky alluded to Shambhala as a real hidden spiritual center, from which great spiritual teachers or masters guide the evolution of humanity. She described these masters as ancient wise beings who reside in remote inaccessible locations, often implying a connection to subterranean or Himalayan strongholds. While not always explicitly calling it Agartha, her descriptions of a hidden spiritual hierarchy and ancient wisdom centers resonated deeply with the broader concept of inner earth civilizations. Another key figure who contributed to the Agartha lore was Ferdynand Ossendowski, a Polish explorer and writer. In his 1022 book, Beasts, Men and Gods, Ossendowski recounted his travels through Central Asia, including Mongolia and Tibet. During his journeys, he claimed to have met Buddhist lamas and other individuals who spoke of a legendary kingdom hidden deep within the earth known as Amrita or Agartha. Ossendowski described Agartha as a vast underworld kingdom inhabited by millions of people who possessed incredible knowledge of science and religion. He was told that Agartha had existed for millions of years and that its inhabitants communicated with each other and with their ruler, the king of the world, through telepathy. Ossendowski's vivid descriptions, filled with tales of mystical encounters and secret entrances, captured the public imagination and firmly embedded the idea of a subterranean civilization named Agartha into popular consciousness. His account, though often viewed with skepticism by mainstream historians and scientists, became a foundational text for many subsequent theories and explorations of the inner earth. 8. Concept. The geographical attributions for these fabled realms are as varied as the accounts themselves, reflecting a persistent attempt to anchor these mythical places in the tangible world. The Himalayas, with their imposing peaks, remote valleys, and deep-seated spiritual traditions, have consistently been a prime candidate for the location of hidden kingdoms. The sheer inaccessibility and the mystique surrounding these mountains made them a natural repository for legends of secret societies' hidden wisdom. Shambhala, as previously mentioned, is deeply rooted in Tibetan Buddhist lore, which geographically situates it within this vast mountain range. Similarly, Agartha has often been associated with entrances found in remote Himalayan monasteries or hidden caves within the mountainous regions. Beyond the Himalayas, other locations have been proposed as gateways or dwelling places for these subterranean civilizations. Some theorists have pointed to the legendary subterranean entrances found in the Tibetan plateau, particularly near Lhasa in the Karakoram mountain range. Others have suggested that the entrance to Agartha could be located within the Earth's polar regions, particularly the North Pole. This idea gained traction through the writings of figures like Raymond Bernard, who in his book, The Hollow Earth, one 1969 posited that the North Pole contains an opening leading to the inner Earth and its civilization. Bernard elaborated on earlier theories, including those of Admiral Richard E. Byrd, an American polar explorer. Byrd's private diary, allegedly written during a flight over the North Pole in 1047, described an encounter with a hidden, verdant land, populated by advanced beings who communicated with him telepathically, warning of the dangers of nuclear weapons and offering wisdom. While the authenticity of Byrd's allegedry has been widely disputed and is generally considered a hoax or a misinterpretation, it nevertheless served to fuel the persistent myth of a polar entrance to a hollow Earth and its advanced inhabitants. The concept of a hollow Earth itself is a significant underpinning for many of these subterranean kingdom legends. While not strictly identical to the idea of advanced civilizations hidden within the Earth's crust or core, the hollow Earth theory posits that our planet is in fact a shell with a habitable interior, possibly containing its own sun and populated by advanced beings or even the lost tribes of humanity. This notion, while scientifically unsubstantiated, provided a theoretical framework that allowed for the existence of vast hidden realms. Early proponents of the hollow Earth theory included figures like Edmund High, the astronomer who proposed in the 17th century that the Earth might consist of concentric shells. Later in the 19th century, 9 figures like Cyrus Teed, founder of the Khorassan Unity, promulgated the idea that the entire universe resided within a hollow Earth with humans living on the inner surface. These ideas, though originating from different motivations and often lacking empirical support, contributed to a broader cultural acceptance of the possibility that much of our planet's interior remained unexplored and potentially inhabited. The perceived consistency across various traveler accounts and esoteric interpretations, despite the fantastical nature of the claims, lies in a recurring set of characteristics attributed to these inner Earth civilizations. They are consistently portrayed as repositories of ancient wisdom often predating known human history. Their technology is described as being far beyond current human capabilities, not necessarily in terms of material machines, but in its integration with spiritual understanding, often involving psychic abilities, control over natural forces, and advanced understanding of physics and consciousness. The inhabitants are typically depicted as physically or spiritually superior to surface dwellers, often possessing longer lifespans, greater physical beauty, and profound spiritual attainment. They are usually described as peaceful, harmonious societies, free from the conflicts, greed, and suffering that plague the surface world. These commonalities suggest a shared archetypal image of an ideal perfected humanity, or a humanity that has preserved the purity of an earlier, more enlightened age. The role of esoteric literature and modern exploration narratives in perpetuating these myths cannot be overstated. Books, journals, and periodicals dedicated to occultism, spiritualism, and fringe theories provided fertile ground for the Arya dissemination and expansion of Agartha and Shambhala legends. Authors drawing upon ancient scriptures, personal mystical experiences, and speculative interpretations of historical anomalies created a rich tapestry of interconnected narratives. This body of literature acted as a continuous feedback loop, with new writers building upon reinterpreting and expanding the existing lore. The allure of these hidden kingdoms also intersected with the era of geographical exploration, where the vast unknowns of the Earth's surface, particularly in remote regions, like the Himalayas, the poles, and deep cave systems, seem to offer tantalizing possibilities for the discovery of lost worlds. Even as modern science mapped the Earth with increasing precision, the allure of the undiscovered and the hidden persisted, fueled by these enduring myths. The enduring appeal of Agartha and Shambhala speaks to a deep-seated human desire for a utopian existence, for a world governed by wisdom, peace, and advanced understanding hidden away from the chaos and imperfections of our known reality. 10. These legends offer a counterpoint to the often harsh realities of the surface world, suggesting that somewhere perhaps beneath our feet, a perfected humanity or a guiding spiritual force exists. They tap into our innate curiosity about the unknown and our yearning for meaning, offering a glimpse of possibilities that transcend our current limitations. Whether viewed as literal subterranean realms, allegorical representations of spiritual states, or simply as compelling myths, Agartha and Shambhala continue to resonate, embodying humanity's persistent dream of a hidden higher existence. The careful examination of their origins, evolution, and geographical attributions reveals not just the power of a single myth, but the shared psychological and spiritual landscape that gives rise to such enduring narratives of worlds unseen. Music. This ongoing fascination highlights a fundamental aspect of the UDO and human condition, the perennial quest for knowledge, perfection, and a deeper understanding of our place within the vast and often mysterious tapestry of existence both above and below the visible surface. The subterranean world, as we have begun to explore, is not merely a canvas for utopian civilizations, but also our repository for legends of beings far more primal and awe-inspiring. These are the titans, the ancient adversaries, and the elemental spirits that dwell in the deep places of the earth, shaping folklore and sparking the human imagination for millennia. While the previous exploration focused on the sophisticated hidden kingdoms of Agartha and Shambhala, this section delves into the more formidable and often terrifying inhabitants of the netherworld, giants, dragons, and the myriad of earth-dwelling spirits. These myths, though seemingly disparate, often share common threads hinting at ancient anxieties, collective memories, or perhaps even misinterpreted encounters with realities of the deep earth. The concept of giants inhabiting the earth's interior is remarkably widespread, appearing in the mythologies and religious texts of numerous cultures. The Bible, for instance, mentions the Nephilim, often translated as giants, who were present on earth before and after the Great Flood. Genesis 6:4 states there were giants on the self-earth in those days, and also afterward, when the sons of God came into the daughters of men, and they bore children to them. Those were the mighty men which were of old men of renown. This biblical reference has been a cornerstone for many interpretations, with some suggesting these giants were not merely large humans, but beings of a different, perhaps even subterranean origin. The Book of Enoch further elaborates on these beings, describing them as fallen angels who descended to earth, corrupted humanity, and introduced forbidden knowledge, including the forging of 11 weapons and the use of cosmetics. These beings, it is implied, wielded immense power and engaged in destructive activities, necessitating divine intervention through the flood. The association of giants with an ancient pre-diluvian world, a time often characterized by chaos and titanic struggles, resonates with the idea of them as primordial inhabitants of the earth, perhaps forced underground or simply existing in realms inaccessible to later surface dwellers. Beyond the Judeo-Christian tradition, the motif of giants is ubiquitous. In Greek mythology, the Gigantes were a race of powerful beings, offspring of Gaia, Earth, and Uranus, sky. They waged war against the Olympian gods in a cataclysmic event known as the Gigantomachy. Many of these giants were depicted as having serpentine lower bodies and immense strength, and after their defeat, some were said to have been imprisoned beneath the earth, a concept that aligns with subterranean dwelling. Homer's Odyssey, famously, recounts Odysseus's encounter with the Cyclops Polyphemus, a one-eyed giant who lived in a cave and preyed on sailors. The Cyclopes were a race of giants known for their immense size and strength, and their association with caves and rugged landscapes reinforces the connection to the underground. Norse mythology also features its share of giants, the Jotnar. These beings were often Sloshen, portrayed as adversaries to the Aesir gods living in Jotunheim, a land often depicted as remote and wild, bordering the realms of humans and gods. While not exclusively subterranean, their connection to the elemental forces of nature, including mountains and frozen wastes, often place them in harsh, inaccessible environments that could be interpreted as bordering or containing subterranean realms. Ancient Germanic sagas such as the Eddas describe epic battles between gods and giants, underscoring their role as fundamental cosmic forces often associated with the wild, untamed aspects of the world, which could easily extend to the deep earth. Across the globe, similar myths of colossal beings emerge. In Mesoamerican lore, there are accounts of giants who walked the earth in primordial times, predating the current races of humans. Aztec mythology, for instance, speaks of different suns and the races that inhabited each epoch, with some of these races being giants. The Popol Vuh, the sacred book of the Maya, also describes a race of giants that existed before the creation of the current humans. These beings were said to have been made of stone and were powerful, but they angered the gods and were destroyed, often being buried or transformed into rock formations. This association with stone and immovability further links them to the deep, unyielding nature of the earth. 12. In South America, indigenous traditions in the Andes speak of ancient giants who are responsible for constructing massive stone structures, such as those found at Puma, Punku, and Tiwanaku. These myths often attribute the feats of moving and shaping colossal stones to these beings, who are sometimes described as having dwelled in caves or mountainous regions. The sheer scale of some of these ancient constructions, which defy easy explanation with known ancient technologies, has led some to speculate that these myths might contain distorted memories of actual beings or a lost technological understanding. The symbolic interpretation of giants in mythology is multifaceted. They can represent the raw, untamed forces of nature, the primal chaos that existed before order was imposed, or the awe-inspiring power of the earth itself. Their immense size and strength often symbolize these powerful, overwhelming forces that are beyond human comprehension or control. Furthermore, giants can represent the ancient past, the primordial inhabitants of the earth whose time has passed, leaving behind only monumental ruins and fragmented legends. Their association with the underground can be seen as a retreat from the surface world, a descent into the depths as humanity evolved, or as the cosmic order shifted. They are the embodiment of a powerful, ancient earth, a force that can be both destructive and awe-inspiring, residing in the very foundations of the world. Closely intertwined with the legends of subterranean giants are the myths of dragons, creatures that have captivated human imagination across virtually all cultures. While dragons are often depicted as winged serpents dwelling in mountains, caves, or remote lands, their connection to the earth and its hidden places is undeniable. In many traditions, dragons are guardians of treasures, often buried deep within the earth or within sacred mountains. They represent elemental power often associated with earth, fire, and water, and their layers are frequently found in deep caverns or subterranean networks. In European folklore, dragons were often portrayed as formidable adversaries, symbols of chaos and evil that had to be overcome by heroic knights. St. George and the Dragon is perhaps the most famous example, where the dragon's lair was often described as a cave or a desolate region from which it terrorized the local populace. The act of slaying the dragon and rescuing the maiden symbolized the triumph of good over evil, order over chaos, and light over darkness. The dragon in this context embodies the monstrous, untamed aspects of nature and the primal challenges that humanity must face. Their underground layers suggest a connection to the Earth's hidden dangerous energies. 13. Chinese mythology presents a different view of dragons. Here, dragons are generally benevolent beings associated with water, rain, typhoons, and floods. They are often depicted as wise and powerful, controlling the forces of nature and bringing prosperity. However, even in this more positive portrayal, dragons are deeply connected to the earth and its elemental powers. They are believed to reside in rivers, lakes, and the sea, and their movements can cause seismic activity or changes in the landscape. Some traditions suggest that dragons also inhabit subterranean palaces or caves, acting as guardians of the underworld or the hidden realms beneath the surface. The Emperor of China was often symbolically linked to the dragon, representing his connection to the cosmic order and his dominion over the land. In many mythologies, dragons are depicted as hoarding immense wealth, gold, jewels, and ancient artifacts which they keep in their subterranean hoards. This association with buried treasure further solidifies their link to the Earth's hidden riches and the secrets it holds. The act of a hero venturing into a dragon's lair to retrieve this treasure can be seen as a metaphor for seeking hidden knowledge or unlocking the Earth's potential. The dragon, as the guardian of this wealth, represents the dangers and trials one must overcome to attain such profound rewards. The concept of dragons also extends to the realm of the Earth's spirit. In some European traditions, particularly Germanic and Celtic folklore, there are tales of serpentine or worm-like creatures that dwell underground. These creatures, often referred to as worms or lindworms, are sometimes depicted as wingless dragons, burrowing through the earth and causing destruction. They can be seen as localized manifestations of a more profound chthonic power. Their ability to move through the Cath-Earth strata suggests an intimate connection with the subterranean world, almost as Trey if they are an extension of the Earth itself. The sheer prevalence of dragon myths across cultures suggests a deep-seated human fascination with these powerful serpentine beings and their connection to the chasey, hidden aspects of the world. Whether viewed as embodiment of elemental fury, guardians of forgotten treasures, or symbols of ancient untamed power, dragons invariably occupy a liminal space between the known world and the mysteries that lie beneath their subterranean layers and their association with the very fabric of the fans. Earth lend credence to the idea that these myths might in part reflect transient human interactions with powerful natural phenomena, or even with beings whose existence was tied to the deep earth. 14. Beyond these colossal figures of giants and dragons, the subterranean world is populated by a vast array of smaller, more elusive beings in folklore. Dwarves, gnomes, kobolds, and a myriad of other earth-dwelling spirits. These beings, though often depicted as diminutive, play a significant role in subterranean mythologies, frequently portrayed as skilled artisans, miners, and guardians of the Earth's secrets. Dwarves, a staple of Norse and Germanic mythology, are famously skilled in smithing, mining, and craftsmanship. They dwell in the mountains and deep underground, creating magnificent treasures and powerful weapons. In the prose, Edwa are described as having arisen from the primordial earth-like maggots in the flesh of the giant Emir. They are said to have been given intelligence and human form by the gods. Their association with the deep earth is absolute. They are the miners of precious metals and gems, the shapers of stone, and the creators of artifacts of immense power and beauty. Their underground kingdoms, like Svartheim, are vast and intricate, filled with forges and workshops. Gnomes, a term popularized by the 16th century alchemist Paracelsus, are often Dable Piv, Paracelsus categorized elementals into gnomes, earth, sills, air, undines, water, and salamanders, fire. Gnomes were seen as guardians of the earth's treasures, living beneath the surface and protecting mineral wealth. They are often depicted as small, wizened figures, sometimes with long beards and wearing pointed hats, embodying the spirit of the earth and its hidden bounty. Their nature is often described as shy and reclusive, preferring the solitude of their subterranean abodes. In Germanic folklore, kobolds are household spirits or subterranean spirits. As subterranean kobolds, they are associated with mines and underground caverns, assisting miners and guarding mineral veins. They are often depicted as mischievous but also helpful, sometimes warning miners of danger or leading them to rich deposits. Their existence is intimately tied to the Earth's mineral wealth and the labor of extracting it. Across many cultures, there are tales of beings that live within hills, mountains, and underground dwellings. These beings are often depicted as having a close relationship with the Earth, possessing innate knowledge of its secrets, and sometimes interacting with humans either beneficently or malevolently. These Earth spirits can be seen as personifications of the Earth's vitality, its hidden powers, and its enduring presence. They are the keepers of the subterranean realm, living in harmony with the rocks, minerals, and darkness of the underworld. 15. The question then arises, could these widespread myths of earth-dwelling spirits, from the industrious dwarves to the elusive gnomes, be more than mere fantasy? Some theories propose that these stories might be distorted memories of encounters with actual subterranean societies. Perhaps early hominids who adapted to a life in caves and underground environments, or even hypothetical yet undiscovered biological species that evolved in unique subterranean niches. The skills attributed to them: exceptional craftsmanship, mining, abilities and deep knowledge of the earth could be seen as interpretations of observed behaviors or encounters. Consider the possibility of early human or hominid groups who became specialized in subterranean living. Adaptations to such an environment might include enhanced hearing, a different sensory perception of light and darkness, and perhaps a unique biological makeup. The myths of dwarves, with their strength, craftsmanship, and association with mountains and mines, could be a cultural echo of interactions with such groups filtered through millennia of storytelling and symbolic interpretation. Their small stature and association with the earth might reflect a distinct evolutionary path. Alternatively, these legends might be symbolic representations of the earth's intrinsic energies and hidden processes. The dwarves' ability to work metals could symbolize the geological processes that create precious ores. The gnome's guardianship of treasures could represent the earth's hidden wealth and the inherent value of the mineral kingdom. These spirits in this view are not literal beings, but rather embodiment of the earth's mysterious forces and the human drive to understand and exploit them. The persistent thread that connects giants, dragons, and the myriad of earth spirits is their intimate relationship with the subterranean world. Whether as colossal primordial forces, terrifying guardians, or diligent artisans, they all inhabit or are deeply connected to the realms beneath the surface. Their stories speak to a profound human awareness of the vast, unexplored depths of our planet, a space that has for millennia been a source of both fear and wonder, a place where the Earth's secrets and perhaps its ancient inhabitants lie hidden. The enduring power of these myths compels us to consider the possibility that beneath the familiar landscape of our world, there may be truths about existence and the history of life that are only beginning to be unearthed. The persistent fascination with the Earth's interior, as evidenced by the rich tapestry of myths surrounding subterranean realms and their inhabitants, naturally gravitated 16 towards more concrete, scientific or pseudoscientific explorations. Among these, few concepts have captured the imagination with such enduring tenacity as the hollow Earth theory. Far from being a purely mythological construct, this idea emerged in part from early attempts to reconcile observable phenomena with scientific understanding, creating a fascinating nexus where scientific inquiry, speculation, and enduring myth intertwine. Its journey from the pages of early scientific journals to the fringes of speculative literature offers a compelling case study in how profound questions about our planet's composition have been explored, often through lenses tinted by both genuine curiosity and the pervasive human desire for the extraordinary. The conceptual seeds of a hollow or cavernous Earth can be traced back through antiquity, appearing in various mythologies that suggested underworlds accessible from the surface, or even worlds hidden within the planet's crust. However, it was with the dawn of the scientific revolution and the understanding of planetary bodies that more formalized, albeit speculative, theories began to take shape. One of the earliest and most influential proponents of a scientifically grounded hollow Earth was the renowned English astronomer and mathematician Edmund Halley in the late 17th century. Halley, famous for his work on comets and celestial mechanics, proposed a radical idea to explain anomalous compass readings. He posited that the Earth might not be a solid sphere, but rather composed of concentric shells, similar to nested Russian dolls with inner spheres rotating at different speeds. These inner spheres, he hypothesized, could be hollow and potentially luminous, serving as a source of light for the subterranean realms and perhaps even harboring life. Hall's theory, detailed in his 1692 paper, an historical account of the trade winds and monsoons observable in all the coasts of the East Indies, was an ambitious attempt to address observed navigational puzzles. He suggested that a significant portion of the Earth's interior was hollow, containing an atmosphere and perhaps even life, and that entrances to this inner world might exist at the magnetic poles. The magnetic poles, in his view, were not fixed points, but rather openings into these inner shells, which could explain why compasses sometimes pointed erratically or towards the north. The idea of inner luminous shells was an attempt to provide a source of light for any potential inhabitants of these subterranean regions, addressing a fundamental requirement for life as it was then understood. This was not a flight of pure fantasy. It was a scientific hypothesis, albeit one based on incomplete data and a relievely model of the Earth's interior that would later be superseded. 17. Halley's proposal, while ingenious for its time, was not met with universal acceptance. Even then, however, it planted a significant idea in the intellectual soil, a concept that had continued to sprout in various forms. The allure of a hidden world within our own planet, a place of unknown wonders and potential inhabitants, proved irresistible to subsequent thinkers and storytellers. The notion of concentric spheres offered a TAPS framework, a seemingly logical structure for this hidden realm, and the idea of polar openings provided a tangible, albeit remote, access point for exploration, mirroring in a scientific guise the mythological entrances to the underworld. As scientific understanding progressed, particularly in geology and seismology, the concentric shell model began to face significant challenges. The development of more sophisticated instruments and analytical techniques allowed scientists to probe the Earth's interior in ways previously unimaginable. Seismology, the study of paced earthquakes and the waves they produce, became particularly crucial. By analyzing how seismic waves travel through the Earth, scientists could infer the density and B4Y state of matter at different depths. The speed and path of these waves change depending on the material they encounter: solid rock, molten metal, or less dense substances. The evidence gathered from seismic studies overwhelmingly indicated that the Earth's interior is not hollow, nor is it composed of smoothly nested hollow shells. Instead, seismic wave patterns revealed a layered structure, a solid inner core of floss liquid outer core, a viscous mantle, and a solid crust. The propagation of shear waves, swaves, which cannot travel through liquids, provided definitive proof of a solid inner core, and critically that the outer core, while liquid, was not a void, but a vast ocean of molten iron and nickel. The density calculated from the Earth's gravitational pull and rotation also supported a solid, dense interior, not a hollow one. Despite the mounting scientific evidence against the hollow Earth theory, the concept retained its grip on the popular imagination, evolving into less scientifically rigorous, more speculative and often sensationalized forms. In the 19th century, as exploration pushed the boundaries of the known world, figures like John Cleves Sims Jr. revived and popularized the idea. Sims, a U.S. Army officer, championed the notion of a hollow Earth with entrances at the north and south poles which he believed were accessible. He was so convinced of his theory that he petitioned Congress for funding to lead an expedition to the North Pole to explore these openings. Simmons's version of the hollow Earth was not just a scientific hypothesis, but also a potential refuge. He suggested that the interior might be inhabited by civilizations far more advanced than those on the surface, enjoying a climate regulated by a central sun. His lectures and writings, particularly his Sims's theory of concentric spheres, showing that the Earth is hollow, hexagonal, and habitable within, gained a considerable following. He even proposed that the aurora borealis was caused by the atmosphere escaping from these polar openings. While Sims's theories were largely dismissed by the scientific establishment, his impassioned advocacy resonated with many, tapping into a deep-seated desire for undiscovered lands and alternative realities. The literary world also embraced and transformed the hollow Earth concept. Jules Verne's classic novel Journey to the Center of the Earth, 1864, is perhaps the most famous fictional exploration of this idea, though Verne offered a more nuanced interpretation. Instead of concentric spheres, his protagonists discover a vast prehistoric world within a hollow cavity accessed through a volcanic tube. This fictional portrayal, while popularizing the idea of a subterranean biosphere, differed from Hal's and Sim's models, focusing more on a lost world than a shell structure. Nonetheless, it cemented the hollow Earth in the public consciousness as a realm ripe for adventure and discovery. Later in the 20th century, the hollow Earth theory found new life among those on the fringes of scientific discourse and in esoteric circles. Figures like Marshall B. Gardner continued to propagate ideas similar to Sim's, proposing that the Earth was hollow and that the poles were accessible, even claiming to have seen photographs of these polar openings, which were later revealed to be manipulated images or misinterpretations of natural phenomena. These later iterations often blended the hollow Earth concept with other speculative ideas such as UFOs originating from within the Earth, advanced subterranean civilizations, and even connections to ancient astronauts. The scientific counterarguments against the hollow Earth theory are robust and multifaceted, rooted in fundamental principles of physics, geology, and astronomy. The very existence of gravity and the Earth's density are irreconcilable with a hollow structure. If the Earth were hollow, its mass would be significantly less than what is observed, and this would have profound implications for its gravitational pull, its orbit, and the very formation of the solar system. The concept of a central sun within a hollow Earth also presents insurmountable thermodynamic and gravitational challenges. 19. Furthermore, the geological evidence from deep drilling operations, including the D. Kohler super-deep borehole, which penetrated over 12 kilometers into the Earth's crust, has provided direct sampling of the planet's interior, revealing solid rock formations under immense pressure and heat. The absence of any evidence for vast internal cavities or openings at the poles, despite extensive exploration and satellite imaging, further weakens the theory. the magnetic field of the Earth understood to be generated by the motion of molten iron in the outer core. The geodynamo theory also does not align with the idea of a hollow interior. Despite the overwhelming scientific consensus that the Earth is a solid layered sphere with a molten core, the hollow Earth theory persists as a fascinating cultural artifact. Its endurance speaks to a deeper human impulse, the desire to believe in the unknown, the hidden, and the potentially more wondrous. It reflects an ancient yearning for the uncanny, a curiosity about what lies beneath the surface of our familiar world, a curiosity that myths of subterranean kingdoms and their inhabitants have long satisfied. While High and Sims may have approached the idea with scientific intent, their propositions amplified by literature and later speculative thought ultimately morphed into a narrative that often transcended the empirical. The hollow Earth, therefore, stands as a testament to the enduring power of a compelling idea, one that, while scientifically discredited, continues to echo in the collective imagination, a persistent whisper of hidden worlds and undiscovered possibilities beneath our feet. It highlights how human attempts to understand our planet, even when guided by scientific inquiry, can sometimes venture into realms where speculation and wonder take precedence over empirical data, creating a unique space where science fiction and historical scientific hypothesis converge. The allure of hidden worlds beneath our feet did not vanish with the scientific dismantling of the hollow Earth theory. Instead, it transformed, adapting to the anxieties and technological advancements of the 20th and 21st centuries, morphing into a potent strain of modern folklore and urban legend. These contemporary narratives often bypass the elaborate geological and astronomical hypotheses of earlier eras, focusing instead on more grounded, albeit often sinister, manifestations of the subterranean unknown. The idea of secret government bases, vast underground military installations, and clandestine research facilities has become a cornerstone of this modern mythology, suggesting that the subterranean realm is not just a forgotten prehistoric landscape, but are actively utilized and perhaps controlled. Space 20. These tales frequently manifest as whispers of inexplicable disappearances, particularly in regions known for extensive cave systems or remote geological formations. Hikers vanishing without a trace, spelunkers lost in newly discovered tunnels, or even entire communities seemingly swallowed by the earth are often attributed to more than mere accidents. The legends speak of vast interconnected tunnel networks, some natural, others excavated by unknown forces, leading to realms far from human observation. These stories tap into a primal fear of the unknown depths, the terrifying possibility that the ground beneath us is not as solid or as empty as we assume, and that entities, whether human, something else entirely, or a blend of both, operate in its shadowy recesses beyond the reach of conventional authority and understanding. Their narrative of the tunnel dweller or the mole, people often appearing in urban folklore, paints a picture of communities forced underground by societal collapse, technological disaster, or even genetic divergence, surviving in the lightless expanses. While often presented as pitiable or even dangerous outcasts, these figures represent a persistent idea of humanity adapting to and making a home within the very bowels of the earth. The concept of secret government bases, often referred to as deep underground military facilities, dumps, or Area 51 locations, plays a significant role in modern subterranean folklore. These legends posit that governments or shadowy elements within them have established vast self-sufficient complexes hidden miles beneath the surface, utilized for everything from advanced weapons development and extraterrestrial research to the containment of dangerous experiments or even biological threats. The public's limited access to certain geological areas combined with historical instances of classified military projects, provides fertile ground for such speculation. The sheer scale and advanced nature attributed to these imagined subterranean citadels reflect contemporary anxieties about unchecked power, the potential for technological advancements to be wielded in secret away from public scrutiny. These bases are often depicted as having their own internal ecosystems, power sources, and transportation networks capable of supporting thousands of personnel, and engaging in operations that could have global implications, all while remaining utterly invisible to the world above. Furthermore, sightings of unusual phenomena originating from the Earth or emanating from subterranean entrances contribute to the modern folklore of underground worlds. These can range from unexplained lights and sonic anomalies emanating from deep caves or mines to bizarre atmospheric occurrences or geological disturbances that defy conventional scientific explanation. Often these 21 events are retroactively linked to purported secret underground facilities or to the activities of non-human entities. For instance, theories abound about the aurora borealis and australis being not just atmospheric phenomena, but the visible signatures of vast energy sources or activities occurring deep within the planet, or even at the purported polar entrances. Similarly, unexplained seismic events or unusual magnetic fluctuations are sometimes attributed to the operational activities of these hidden subterranean installations, suggesting a technologically advanced civilization or presence operating unseen. The very idea that the Earth's geological activity might be artificially induced or manipulated adds another layer of complexity to these contemporary myths. The influence of technological advancements on these narratives is undeniable. The widespread availability of satellite imagery, advanced geological surveying equipment, and global communication networks has paradoxically not eradicated the idea of hidden underground realms, but has instead reshaped how they are imagined. Instead of relying on vague myths of mythical kingdoms, modern folklore often incorporates sophisticated technological elements. The idea of vast underground cities or bases being shielded by advanced cloaking technology, or that their entrance points are camouflaged with such precision that they elude even the most sophisticated. Surveillance reflects a 21st century understanding of concealment and technological prowess. The internet itself has become a conduit for disseminating these legends, with forums, blogs, and social media platforms serving as modern town squares where tales of subterranean secrets are shared, debated, and expanded upon, creating a decentralized and ever-evolving body of modern folklore. This persistent fascination with hidden subterranean worlds, even in an age of unprecedented scientific understanding, speaks volumes about enduring human psychology. It reflects a deep-seated need to believe in the unknown, the mysterious, and the potentially extraordinary that lies just beyond the veil of our everyday reality. While the specific forms of these myths have evolved from ancient underworld deities and subterranean kingdoms to secret government bases and alien-occupied caverns, the core impulse remains the same: to explore the boundaries of our world, to question what lies beneath the surface, and to imagine possibilities that transcend the mundane. The subterranean realm continues to serve as a powerful metaphor for the powerful hidden aspects of human nature, the unconscious mind, and the secrets that societies keep from themselves. In this sense, the echoes from below are not just echoes of ancient myths, but also reflections of our contemporary hopes, fears, and our insatiable curiosity about what lies hidden in the dark. 22. The narratives of modern underground worlds are often intertwined with the broader themes of conspiracy theories that have proliferated in recent decades. The idea that powerful hidden forces control global events, from clandestine subterranean strongholds, resonates with a general distrust of authority and a belief that official explanations often mask darker truths. These tales can encompass a wide range of subjects, from the manipulation of economies and political systems to the cover-up of alien contact or the development of advanced, potentially world-altering technologies. The Earth's interior becomes the ultimate secure location, the perfect place to conduct operations that require absolute secrecy and detachment from surface world concerns. This lends a sense of tangible threat and hidden danger to rise the subterranean unknown, transforming it from a mere subject of curiosity into a potential source of existential peril. Within this modern folklore, the concept of subterranean civilizations is often depicted as being in possession of technologies far surpassing our own. These advanced societies, whether human offshoots, alien races, or a fusion of the two, are said to inhabit vast, technologically sophisticated cities deep within the Earth, powered by unknown energy sources and utilizing advanced forms of transportation and communication that remain inaccessible to surface dwellers. The idea of an ancient, highly advanced civilization that predates or coexists with humanity. Living in subterranean environments is a recurring theme. These narratives draw upon ancient myths of subterranean kingdoms, but update them with contemporary visions of technological marvels, often mirroring or exceeding our own scientific aspirations. This often includes claims of advanced bioengineering, sophisticated AI, and even a mastery over the very fabric of reality, all developed and honed in the isolation of the ice. Earth's deep interior. The exploration of deep cave systems and underground waterways by intrepid adventurers and researchers, while primarily driven by scientific curiosity and the thrill of discovery, also fuels the public imagination and contributes to the modern folklore. Accounts of explorers encountering vast, previously unknown cavern systems, finding fossilized remains of creatures thought to be extinct, or even reporting strange atmospheric conditions and unexplained sounds, are often reinterpreted and amplified in popular culture. These real-world expeditions, even when yielding purely scientific results, can become the seeds for more fantastical narratives about what truly lies hidden in the Earth's depths. The sheer inaccessibility and inherent dangers associated with such exploration lend an air of mystery and to inherent risk, making it fertile ground for speculation about the ultimate limits of Ka. 23. What can be found or what might be deliberately concealed. Moreover, the persistent appearance of underground bases in fiction and media plays a significant role in shaping public perception and reinforcing these modern myths. From Hollywood, blockbusters depicting massive military complexes hidden beneath deserts or mountains to video games that allow players to explore vast subterranean levels. The visual and narrative language of these hidden worlds has become deeply ingrained in our collective consciousness. This cultural saturation ensures that the idea of a hidden, active subterranean realm remains a vibrant and compelling concept, even for those who do not actively seek out conspiracy theories or urban legends. The consistent portrayal of these locations as sites of advanced technology, military power, and often clandestine activities reinforces the notion that the Earth's interior is not merely a geological formation, but a potentially significant strategic and operational space. The intersection of environmental concerns and the idea of subterranean realms also contributes to modern folklore. As humanity grapples with the impacts of phaser, industrialization, resource depletion, and climate change, the Earth's interior is sometimes envisioned as a potential refuge or a repository of forgotten ecological wisdom. Some narratives suggest that ancient environmentally conscious civilizations retreated underground to escape surface world cataclysms, or that hidden subterranean ecosystems hold the key to ecological restoration. These ideas, while often rooted in speculative ecological thought, tap into a deep-seated desire for solutions and for places of pristine, untainted natural beauty, suggesting that the Earth's hidden depths might offer answers to our most pressing environmental challenges, this adds a hopeful, albeit still fantastical dimension to the modern understanding of underground worlds. Ultimately, the enduring presence of subterranean myths in contemporary folklore and urban legends underscores a fundamental aspect of the human psyche. Our persistent fascination with the unknown and our innate curiosity about what lies beyond the visible and the familiar. The Earth's interior, a realm fundamentally alien and inaccessible to most, continues to serve as a potent symbol for the hidden, the mysterious, and the potentially infinite. Whether manifested as secret military installations, ancient alien cities, or simply vast unexplored caverns, the idea of worlds hidden beneath our feet remains a powerful current in the collective imagination, testament to our unyielding desire to probe the depths of both our planet and our own understanding. These modern tales, born from the anxieties, technologies, and persistent wonder of our time, demonstrate that the echoes from 24 Below continue to resonate, shaping our perception of the world and our place within it. The ongoing construction and deconstruction of these narratives reflect not just a fascination with what might be beneath us, but also a continuous exploration of what it means to be human in a world that constantly reveals and conceals its secrets. 25. Chapter 2. Footprints in Stone. Archaeological clues to hidden cities. The persistent human drive to seek refuge, to build anew from the very bedrock of the earth, finds one of its most astounding and tangible manifestations in the sprawling, subterranean metropolis of Daringuyu. Nestled deep beneath the sun-baked plains of Cappadocia, Turkey. This is no mere collection of caves or a simple underground dwelling. Daringuyu represents an ancient marvel of engineering and societal planning, a testament to the ingenuity and resilience of peoples who sought sanctuary from the tumult of the surface world. Its sheer scale and the part in one complexity of its design challenge our modern perceptions of ancient capabilities, painting a vivid picture of a civilization that possessed not only the will to survive, but also the sophisticated knowledge to create a self-sustaining world beneath the below ground. The history of Daringuyu is like much of the deep past, shrouded in layers of speculation and archaeological debate. While definitive attribution remains elusive, prevailing theories point towards its construction by either the Hittites, a powerful empire that dominated Anatolia from the 18th century BCE, or the Phrygians, an Estan Indo-European people who rose to prominence in the region around the 8th century BCE. What is undeniable is the immense effort and meticulous planning required to excavate this labyrinthine city. The process would have involved generations of labor chipping away at the soft, yet durable volcanic tuff rock that characterizes the Samaro-Cappadocian landscape. This material, while relatively easy to carve, offered substantial stability, allowing for the creation of vast halls, narrow passages, and multi-story structures that have withstood the ravages of millennia. Daringuyu is not a single monolithic entity, but rather a vast, multi-layered complex burrowing an astonishing depth into the earth. Archaeological investigations have revealed at least 18 distinct levels, though it is widely believed that the city extends even deeper, with some estimates suggesting it could reach as far down as 85 meters, approximately 280 feet. This vertical expansion allowed for the creation of a residuous, remarkably organized society with different functions strategically located at various depths. The uppermost levels were likely used for storing goods, housing animals in stables, and perhaps for temporary shelter, while the deeper levels provided more permanent residences, communal areas, and essential facilities. The very design of Daring speaks volumes about the practical needs of a population seeking refuge. Access to the city was carefully controlled with massive circular stone doors, some weighing several tons that could be rolled into place to 26 seal-off entrances. These doors were ingeniously designed with grooves that would slot into the stone, making them incredibly difficult to force open from the outside. Many of these doors remain in situ, a stark reminder of the constant threat that necessitated such formidable defenses. The city could be sectioned off level by level, allowing inhabitants to isolate sections if breached, further enhancing their security. Ventilation was Undramain's one of the most impressive feats of engineering at Daring Kuyu, a complex network of numerous ventilation shafts, some extending all the way to the surface, ensured a constant supply of fresh air to even the deepest levels. These shafts were strategically placed, often disguised as well or natural fissures, and were crucial for the survival of thousands of inhabitants. They also served secondary purposes such as providing water during dry seasons or facilitating the escape of smoke from cooking fires or other activities, ensuring that the city remained habitable and inconspicuous. Life within Daring Kuyu was by necessity communal and highly organized. The living quarters were typically carved into the rock walls, often with sleeping areas, kitchens, and storage spaces within each individual dwelling or family unit. Communal areas were vast and impressive, including large meeting halls, churches or chapels for religious services, and even communal kitchens and dining areas. The sheer number of these spaces suggests a large population potentially capable of housing up to trained 20 people, along with their livestock for extended periods. The inclusion of stables complete, with feeding troughs and animal pens, highlights the importance of livestock to the inhabitants. Animals would have provided not only food but also milk, wool, and transport, and their inclusion within the protective confines of the city was a vital aspect of self-sufficiency. The presence of wine presses and cellars complete with large amphoe for storage indicates sophisticated agricultural practices and the production of food and drink, further underscoring the city's capacity for long-term habitation. The spiritual and social life of the community is evidenced by the numerous rock-cut chapels found throughout Daring. These spaces, often adorned with crosses carved into the rock, point to a deeply religious populace. The existence of these designated places of worship suggests that even in the face of extreme adversity, the Thai inhabitants sought to maintain their cultural and spiritual practices, a testament to the enduring power of faith and community. Sheer labor involved in creating Daring is almost unfathomable. It required not only immense physical exertion but also a sophisticated understanding of 27 geology, architecture, and logistics. The carving of these spaces, often with precision tools that would have been rudimentary by modern standards, demonstrates an advanced level of craftsmanship. The ability to excavate tunnels, chambers, and passages without causing catastrophic collapses speaks to a deep knowledge of the Estate 5 rock's properties and structural integrity. This was not an ad hoc endeavor, but a meticulously planned and executed undertaking, likely spanning centuries of continuous development and adaptation. The historical context for the construction and use of Daring is rooted in the volatile political and social landscape of ancient Anatolia. The region has been a crossroads of civilizations for millennia. Subject to invasions, migrations, and religious persecutions, various groups, including the early Christians in Cappadocia, are believed to have utilized these underground cities extensively. During periods of Roman persecution and later during the Arab raids on Anatolia that began in the 7th century CE and continued for several centuries, these subterranean complexes provided vital sanctuary, allowing communities to escape violence, famine, and enslavement. They could subsist underground for extended periods, relying on stored provisions and the resources accessible through their hidden ventilation and escape routes. While the precise period of Daring's peak usage is debated, it is generally agreed that it served as a significant refuge for centuries, potentially from as early as the Hittite period right through to the Byzantine era and beyond. The discovery of artifacts and the architectural styles found within the city provide clues to its occupation timeline, but the continuous nature of its development and reuse makes definitive dating challenging. It is possible that different groups expanded and adapted the city over time, each adding their own layers to its complex history. The strategic importance of Daringuyu and similar underground cities in Cappadocia cannot be overstated. They represent a remarkable response to the persistent challenges of survival in a region that has historically experienced significant geopolitical instability. The ability to disappear beneath the surface, to become invisible to invaders, and to sustain life in the bowels of the earth provided a unique and powerful advantage. These were not simply hiding places, they were fully functional settlements capable of supporting a significant portion of the population for potentially years at a time, allowing them to outlast periods of conflict and to re-emerge when conditions became more favorable. 28. The discovery and ongoing exploration of Daringuyu continue to reveal new insights into the lives of its ancient inhabitants. Each newly uncovered passage, each forgotten chamber, adds another piece to the puzzle of their existence. It stands as a chief, powerful monument to human ingenuity, resilience, and the enduring quest for safety and self-preservation. It reminds us that the earth beneath our feet is not merely inert matter, but our repository of history, a testament to the remarkable capabilities of those who came before us, and a vivid illustration of how human civilization has at times literally carved its existence out of stone. The silent subterranean halls of Daringuyu whisper tales of a past where survival meant becoming one with the earth. A profound demonstration of humanity's ability to adapt and thrive in even the most challenging of environments. Sheer scale of human endeavor required to create such a city, to carve out a life and a civilization in the darkness, is a legacy that continues to inspire awe and wonder, drawing visitors from around the globe to witness firsthand this extraordinary feat of ancient engineering and resilience. The meticulous attention to detail, from the ventilation shafts that still function today to the cleverly concealed entrances, underscores a level of societal organization and technological understanding that reshapes our perception of the ancient world. Daringuyu is more than an archaeological site. It is a testament to the enduring spirit of humanity, a subterranean echo of civilization's past that speaks volumes about our innate drive to protect, to build, and to endure, no matter the obstacles presented by the world above. While Daringuyu stands as Atitan among Cappadocia's subterranean marvels, its existence is not an isolated phenomenon. The region, sculpted by volcanic activity over millions of years, provided a unique geological canvas for the creation of numerous interconnected underground cities, each with its own distinct character and purpose, yet all united by the common thread of providing sanctuary and a sustainable existence for their inhabitants. Among these, the city of Kashle emerges as a particularly significant, though perhaps less extensively explored counterpart to Daringuyu. Its very name, derived from the Turkish word for cream or white, might allude to the pale hue of the volcanic tuff that forms its bedrock, a characteristic shared with its more famous neighbor Clay, located approximately 10 kilometers east of Daringuyu, presents a slightly different though equally impressive architectural and organizational profile. While Daringuyu plunges to considerable depths, Kaki appears to spread more horizontally, burrowing into the sides of a prominent hill known locally as the Citadel. This more expansive, multi-layered approach to excavation suggests a 29 different strategic consideration, or perhaps a longer, more evolutionary development period, compared to Daringuyu's perhaps more concentrated initial purpose, like Daringus. Klee is not a single monolithic structure, but a complex network of tunnels, rooms, chapels, stables, and living quarters, carved deep into the soft, volcanic, tough early historical accounts, particularly from Byzantine sources, mention a city known as Enip, which is widely believed to be the ancient name for Kamaki. This suggests a continuous history of human habitation and utilization of these subterranean spaces that stretches back centuries, possibly millennia. The sheer density of the excavated areas within Kakle is remarkable. While estimates vary, the city is believed to extend down at least 8 levels, though current archaeological investigations have primarily focused on the upper 4 to 5. These accessible levels reveal asophisticated urban planning with distinct areas designated for specific functions. The presence of numerous stables indicated by rock-cut mangers and stalls underscores the agricultural importance of the ND10 inhabitants, who would have sought to protect their livestock from raids and harsh weather. Similarly, wineries complete with large stone presses and storage amphipoint to the production and preservation of vital commodities. Communal kitchens with large hearths and ventilation shafts suggest organized meal preparation for a significant population. One of the most striking features of Clay, and a point of comparison with Daringkuyu, is its potential interconnectedness. While direct open tunnels linking Kaimle and Daringkuyu have not been definitively proven on a large scale, the prevailing theory among archaeologists and historians is that these cities, along with several other smaller underground complexes in the region, may have been linked by a network of secret passages or tunnels. The immense scale of the excavation and the geological homogeneity of the tuff across the region makes such a subterranean network entirely plausible. The existence of such a network would have allowed for rapid movement of people and resources between the cities, enhancing their collective security and resilience. Imagine a scenario where, under threat, a population could seamlessly transition from one protected settlement to another, rendering pursuiter blockade infinitely more complex for any hostile force. This hypothetical interconnectedness transforms the individual cities into components of a much larger region-wide defensive and survival strategy, a testament to the Fika's strategic foresight of their builders. The archaeological challenges in fully understanding and excavating sites like Katie are significant. The very nature of their construction, burrowing deep into the earth and often on multiple levels, makes comprehensive exploration a daunting and resource-intensive task. Many sections remain inaccessible due to collapses, blocked passages, or simply the sheer difficulty of excavating in confined subterranean spaces. The soft nature of the tuff, while making carving easier, also makes it susceptible to erosion and structural instability over time, requiring careful preservation efforts. Furthermore, the possibility of undiscovered levels or extensive, previously unknown connecting tunnels means that our current understanding of these sites is likely incomplete. Each archaeological expedition unearths new information, but it also raises new questions about the full extent and complexity of these ancient metropolises. The geological formations of Cappadocia are intrinsically linked to the feasibility of such extensive subterranean construction. The region is characterized by a thick layer of soft, yet relatively stable volcanic tuff deposited by ancient eruptions from now dormant volcanoes such as Hassandar and Guluda. This tuff, when solidified, is easily carved with rudimentary tools, allowing for the creation of vast underground spaces without the need for advanced machinery or techniques. However, it also possesses a degree of porosity and structural integrity that prevents widespread collapse, provided that the excavation is planned and executed with a deny understanding of the rock's properties. The presence of layers of harder basalt interbedded within the tuff may have also influenced construction techniques, perhaps serving as natural support structures or requiring different carving methods in certain areas. The landscape itself, with its distinctive fairy chimneys and undulating valleys, is a direct product of this volcanic past. And it was within this geological context that ancient peoples found the ideal material and environment for their remarkable underground cities. The purpose of these cities, while undoubtedly multifaceted, is primarily understood as a response to the pervasive threats faced by the inhabitants throughout history. Cappadocia's strategic location at the crossroads of Anatolia made it a frequent target for invasions, raids, and religious persecution. From the early centuries of Christianity, when believers sought refuge from Roman authorities, to the later periods of Arab incursions during the Byzantine era, these underground complexes provided a vital sanctuary. They were not merely temporary hiding places, but sophisticated, self-sustaining communities that could support populations for extended periods. The deep ventilation shafts, hidden entrances, and carefully controlled access points were all designed to ensure the safety and survival of those who lived within, allowing them to withstand sieges and to emerge once the 31 immediate danger had passed. The scale of these cities, capable of housing thousands of people and their livestock, suggests that they were a planned and essential component of regional defense and societal continuity. Beyond the practicalities of defense, the underground cities also speak to a profound cultural and social adaptation. Living in such confined and subterranean environments would have necessitated a high degree of social cohesion, organization, and interdependence. The shared effort required to excavate and maintain these cities, coupled with the communal living spaces and resources, would have fostered strong bonds within the community. The presence of chapels and religious iconography within these complexes, as seen in both Daranuyu and Karkli, indicates that spiritual life continued unabated, providing solace and a sense of continuity amidst the challenges of their existence. These underground realms were not just shelters, they were entire worlds carved from the earth, preserving not only the physical lives of their inhabitants, but also their culture, their faith, and their community. The enduring mystery surrounding these subterranean cities lies not only in their precise chronological development and the full extent of their networks, but also in the exact identity and numbers of the peoples who conceived and built them. While scholars often point to the Hittites, Freudians, and later Byzantine Christians as primary users or builders, the continuous nature of expansion Andreus across 10 different eras makes definitive attribution complex. It is probable that various groups over centuries contributed to the excavation and expansion of these sites, adapting them to their specific needs and threats. The sheer scale of labor and the sophisticated planning involved suggest a well-organized society with specialized skills capable of mobilizing and sustaining a significant workforce for generations. The discovery of others, smaller underground settlements scattered throughout Cappadocia, such as those at Osanak, Tatlarin, and Gultefurther, solidifies the understanding of this region as a historical hub for subterranean living. Each of these sites shares many of the characteristic features of Daranuyu and Kaki: the carved living quarters, ventilation shafts, churches, and animal stalls, but also possesses unique aspects that hint at distinct regional adaptations or the specific needs of different communities. Oskanak, for instance, is known for its innovative sliding doors that could seal off sections of the city, a testament to the ongoing evolution of defensive strategies. Tatlarin features a large church with apse suggesting a significant religious presence. These variations underscore the dynamic nature of these subterranean settlements, reflecting a continuous process of 32 innovation and adaptation in response to the evolving environmental and geopolitical pressures. The cumulative evidence from Daranuyu Kaki and their sister cities paints a vivid picture of a region where human ingenuity and resilience were honed to an extraordinary degree. These ancient underground metropolises are not merely archaeological curiosities. They are profound testaments to humanity's capacity to adapt, to innovate, and to create secure and thriving communities. Even in the face of existential threats, they serve as a constant reminder that beneath the familiar surface of our world lies a deeper history, etched in stone and whispering tales of survival, community, and the enduring spirit of human endeavor. Music, the meticulous planning, the sheer scale of labor, and the sophisticated engineering evident in these sites continue to astound modern observers, compelling us to reconsider our assumptions about the capabilities of ancient civilizations. The question is no longer whether such cities existed, but rather how many more layers of history remain hidden beneath the iconic landscape of Cappadocia, waiting to be uncovered by the persistent gaze of archaeological inquiry. The soft, volcanic rock of Cappadocia, a product of fiery geological processes, ultimately became the crucible for the Yao, preservation of human civilization, a silent guardian of history that continues to reveal its secrets layer by painstaking layer. The immensity of human ingenuity in crafting subterranean havens as exemplified by the Cappadocian cities leads us to a different continent and a starkly contrasting yet equally perplexing set of monumental achievements, the sites of Pumapunku Tiwanaku in Bolivia. Nestled high in the Andean Altiplano at an elevation of over 3,800 meters, 12,500 ft, these locations present archaeological enigmas that continue to challenge conventional understandings of ancient capabilities. Unlike the carved-out cities of Cappadocia, Pumapunku and Tiwanaku are characterized by colossal, precisely worked megalithic stones assembled into what appear to be ceremonial platforms and structures of immense scale and complexity. The very existence of such sophisticated engineering and astronomical alignment at such an extreme altitude in an environment that would have posed significant challenges to any civilization raises profound questions about the nature of the society that conceived and executed these monumental works. Tiwanaku, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, served as the ceremonial and political center of a powerful Andean civilization that flourished between the 4th and 10th centuries CE. While much of the original city has been eroded by time and plundered, for its stones, the surviving remnants, particularly the Kalisayaya temple complex in 33, the Akapana pyramid, speak volumes about the advanced architectural and engineering prowess of the Tiwanaku people. The sheer size of the individual stone blocks is awe-inspiring. The gateways, such as the famous Gateway of the Sun, are carved from single blocks of andesite, a dense volcanic rock weighing approximately 10 tons each. More remarkable still are the massive stelae, some weighing upwards of 40 tons, which stood as monumental pillars intricately carved with depictions of deities and symbolic motifs. The precision with which these immense stones were quarried, transported and fitted together is astonishing, especially when one considers the tools and technology believed to have been available to ancient Andean cultures. However, it is the nearby site of Pumapunku, meaning the door of the Puma in this language, that pushes the boundaries of explanation even further. Pumapu, believed to be part of the larger Tiwanaku complex, is a vast ceremonial complex consisting of an earth mound platform surrounded by a series of terraces and plazas. The most striking feature of Pumapunku is its collection of massive, intricately shaped stone blocks, many of which are made of red sandstone and harder grey wacke. These stones are not merely large, they are worked with a degree of precision that seems almost impossible given conventional theories of ancient technology. The blocks exhibit perfectly straight edges, sharp right angles, and flat surfaces that have been polished to a mirror-like finish. Many of them are shaped into interlocking H-blocks designed to fit together like a giant ancient puzzle. The sheer meticulousness of the stonework at Pumapunku is what truly sets it apart and fuels ongoing debate. Archaeologists have observed an extraordinary level of accuracy in the cutting and shaping of these stones. For instance, some of the stone benches and platforms are made of multiple, precisely interlocking pieces fitted together without any visible mortar. The channels and grooves carved into the surfaces of these blocks are also remarkably uniform and consistent, some less than a millimeter in width. The ability to achieve such fine tolerances in a hard stone like andesite or greyhacker, using what are believed to have been primitive tools such as stone hammers and chisels, is a significant point of contention. Some researchers proposed that techniques like abrasive grinding with sand and water, combined with immense manual labor, could explain some of the finer finishes. However, the uniformity of the grooves and the perfect flatness of large surfaces suggest a level of control that goes beyond what many believe was achievable with these methods. The question of how these massive stones, some weighing hundreds of tons, were quarried, transported, and lifted into place remains one of the most enduring. 34 Mysteries of Pumapunku and Tiwanaku. The quarries for the andesite and sandstone are located several kilometers away, and the logistical challenges of moving such colossal blocks across rugged terrain, including potential water crossings, would have been immense. While the Imara and Ketua peoples were known for their sophisticated understanding of engineering and their ability to mobilize large labor forces for projects like the construction of terraces and roads, the scale and precision of the Tiwanaku and Pumapunku stonework seem to surpass these known capabilities. Theories range from the use of ramps and levers to the potential, though unproven, use of rollers and sophisticated water management systems to facilitate the movement of heavy loads. Some fringe theories even suggest the involvement of extraterrestrial intervention or the existence of a lost technologically advanced civilization predating the known inhabitants of the region. The astronomical alignments of Tiwanaku and Pumapunku are another area of profound interest. The Kalisasaya temple, for instance, is believed to have been aligned with celestial events, such as the solstices. The gateway of the sun with its intricate carvings appears to be oriented to mark the sunrise on the winter solstice. These alignments suggest a sophisticated understanding of astronomy and the connection between the celestial movements and the religious or ceremonial functions of these sites. The precision with which these alignments were achieved, particularly considering the potential difficulties of precise measurement and affairs surveying in the high Andes at that time, points to a highly developed observational and mathematical culture. The possibility of subterranean elements at these Andean sites, while not as immediately apparent as the massive above-ground stonework, cannot be entirely dismissed when considering the broader context of ancient construction techniques. While the primary focus at Pumapunku and Tiwanaku has been on the surface-level megalithic architecture, it is plausible that foundational elements or ceremonial spaces may have extended below ground, utilizing subterranean construction to ensure stability or for sacred purposes. The concept of sacred mountains and the obal veneration of the earth in Andean cosmology might have led to the creation of underground chambers or tunnels that were integral to the overall design and purpose of these complexes. For example, the Akapana pyramid at Tiwanaku, a stepped earthwork structure, is known to have an internal drainage system that includes stone-line channels, hinting at a more complex internal structure that might have included subterranean conduits or chambers. 35. The discovery of artifacts and evidence of extensive water management systems at Tiwanaku also suggests a sophisticated understanding of hydraulics and earthworks. The presence of sunken plazas and elaborate canal systems could imply the existence of underground reservoirs or conduits that played a crucial role in the functioning of Thessaly, particularly in managing the abundant water resources from the surrounding lake and rivers. While these may not constitute subterranean architecture in the same vein as the carved cities of Cappadocia, they represent an engineering feat that manipulated the earth to create functional and perhaps ceremonial spaces below the Phi's visible surface. The precision of the water channels, some perfectly level and remarkably uniform, echoes the precision seen in the stonework, suggesting a unified approach to engineering and design. The sheer difficulty of excavating and accurately dating these sites, coupled with the extensive erosion and looting that has occurred over centuries, means that much of the original context and purpose of Pumapunku and Tiwanaku remains shrouded in mystery. The materials used for construction, particularly the anderite, are exceptionally hard and resistant to weathering, which has preserved many of the stones in remarkable condition. However, the softer sandstone blocks at Pumapunku have suffered more significant erosion, making detailed analysis of some of their original features challenging. Furthermore, the archaeological record is incomplete, and many layers of the site may remain unexplored or have been entirely lost. The question of who the builders of Tiwanaku and Pumapunku truly were, and this extent of their technological and cultural sophistication, continues to be a subject of intense academic debate and popular speculation. While traditional archaeology attributes the construction to the Tiwanaku civilization, the anomalies in the stonework have led some to propose alternative theories, including the existence of an earlier, more advanced culture that laid the groundwork for Thalata Tiwanaku people, or even the direct influence of other more technologically advanced societies. The precise dating of the earliest phases of construction, particularly at Pumapunku, is also complex, with some evidence suggesting that some of the most precisely worked stones may predate the commonly accepted timeline for the Tiwanaku civilization. The challenge for investigators lies in reconciling the exceptional quality of the prism stonework with the generally understood technological capabilities of the era. While it is tempting to invoke lost technologies or forgotten civilizations, it is also important to consider the possibility that our understanding of ancient capabilities is incomplete. The ancient Andeans were renowned for their intricate textile weaving, 36 metalworking, and their ability to organize massive labor forces for monumental construction projects. It is possible that they possessed a greater mastery of stonework techniques than is currently appreciated, perhaps involving specialized tools, long-term apprenticeships, and a profound understanding of material properties. The concept of precision itself is relative. What appears impossibly precise to modern eyes using advanced tools might have been achievable through different, albeit more time-consuming methods. The interlocking H-blocks at Pumapunku are a particular focus of debate. These blocks, often featuring multiple, precisely cut interlocking sections within a single stone, suggest a sophisticated design philosophy and an advanced understanding of geometry and mechanics. The ability to cut such complex shapes with such accuracy points towards either highly specialized tools or techniques that are not yet fully understood. Some researchers have proposed that these blocks might have been formed by casting, a method of shaping molten materials, though evidence for such practices at this scale and with these materials is largely absent. Others suggest that the stones might have been cut using some form of abrasion, perhaps with water and sand combined with precisely shaped molds or guides. The implications of the precision at Pumapunku and Tiwanaku extend beyond mere architectural achievement. They suggest a society that valued order, symmetry, and perhaps a deep philosophical or religious connection to the precise manipulation of the Earth's materials. The scale of these projects would have required significant social organization, resource management, and a shared cultural vision. Whether this vision was driven by religious devotion, political power, or a combination of both, the enduring legacy of these sites is one of profound human endeavor and an enduring testament to the mysteries that still lie buried within the archaeological record. The meticulousness of their construction serves as a silent, stony question mark, inviting us to reconsider what ancient peoples were truly capable of, and to delve deeper into the hidden histories etched into the very foundations of our world. The precision here, while different from the subterranean carving of Cappadocia, shares a common theme: a remarkable ability to shape the earth to human will, achieving feats that continue to inspire awe and fuel our quest for understanding the deep past. The integration of these monumental stone structures with the natural landscape and the potential for unseen subterranean elements further underscores the complexity and sophisticated planning inherent in these ancient Andean marvels. The meticulous detail in the stonework, the sheer weight of the materials, and the astronomical alignments all point to a civilization with a profound understanding of engineering. 37. Astronomy and a worldview that likely intertwined the earthly and the celestial in ways we are only beginning to comprehend. The immensity of human ingenuity as revealed in the subterranean cities of Cappadocia and the megalithic marvels of Pumapunku and Tiwanaku compels us to broaden our gaze to other continents and equally perplexing ancient constructions. North America, and Europe in particular, are home to a vast and often underestimated network of ancient earthworks and burial mounds. While these sites have long been catalogued and studied primarily as ceremonial centers or final resting places for ancient peoples, a growing body of inquiry suggests that their true purpose may have been far more complex, perhaps even extending to the creation of entrances to extensive underground networks or acting as sophisticated repositories of ancient knowledge across the North American continent. The remnants of the Adena and Hopewell cultures, among others, manifest as a landscape dotted with thousands of artificial brought mounds. These earthen structures, ranging from small conical mounds to vast geometrically precise enclosures, have captivated archaeologists for centuries. The most famous examples include the Serpent Mound in Ohio, a sinuous effigy mound stretching over a 4-mile, and the Great Enclosure at Fort Ancient, a sprawling earthwork enclosing some 100 acres with impressive walls. Traditional interpretations posit these mounds as primarily morti sites containing thermains of elite individuals, grave goods, and evidence of elaborate rituals. Scale of labor required to construct these monuments, moving tons of earth with primitive tools, often in specific symbolic shapes, speaks to highly organized societies with a profound spiritual or social imperative. However, a closer examination of certain earthworks reveals a level of sophistication that challenges these conventional explanations. The geometric precision of some enclosures, such as those found in Ohio, is remarkable. Lines are remarkably straight, curves are near perfect, circles and angles are remarkably acute. This level of geometric accuracy, particularly in the absence of modern surveying equipment, suggests a deep understanding of mathematics and spatial relationships. Some researchers, such as Evan T. Sanderson, have pointed to the possibility that these geometric earthworks might have functioned as resonant cavities or energy conduits designed to harness currents or even atmospheric electricity. While the hypothesis remains on the fringes of mainstream archaeology, it opens up intriguing possibilities about the functional intent behind the meticulous shaping of the landscape. 38. Furthermore, the potential for subterranean elements within these earthworks cannot be overlooked. While many mounds have been excavated, revealing burial chambers, evidence of internal structures, or the deliberate placement of artifacts, the possibility of deeper, more extensive underground construction remains largely unexplored. Many mounds were likely built in stages, and later modifications or destructions could have obscured earlier subterranean features. Consider the Adena, who were known for their mortuary mounds. The complexity of their burial rituals, which often involved multiple interments over generations, and the creation of elaborate log tombs hints at a capacity for sophisticated construction that might have extended below the surface. The question arises, were these mounds merely elevated burial grounds, or did they also serve as surface markers for more extensive underground complexes, perhaps utilized for shelter, storage, or even sacred rituals conducted away from the elements and prying eyes? The astronomical alignments present in many of these North American earthworks add another layer of complexity. The Serpent Mound, for example, has been noted for its alignment with the summer solstice, sunrise and sunset, as well as with certain constellations. Similarly, the Great Enclosure at Fort Ancient exhibits alignments with solstices and equinoxes. This suggests that the builders possessed a keen awareness of celestial cycles and incorporated this knowledge into the very fabric of their monumental constructions. The deliberate orientation of these earthworks towards specific astronomical events implies a worldview deeply intertwined with the cosmos and perhaps a practical application of this knowledge. Could these alignments have served a kundrical function? Or did they relate to the cyclical passage of energies, spirits, as some interpretative frameworks suggest? The precision of these alignments, often achieved through the careful positioning of mounds and enclosures relative to natural features and celestial events, points to a sophisticated understanding of observational astronomy and geodesy. Moving across the Atlantic, Europe's landscape is similarly adorned with a multitude of ancient earthworks and burial mounds, each with its own unique set of enigmas. From the Neolithic passage tombs of Ireland such as Newgrange to the Bronze Age, Barrows of Britain and the extensive Iron Age hill forts scattered across the continent. These structures speak of a long and complex history of human settlement and monument building. Newgrange, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, is perhaps one of the most compelling examples. Older than Stonehenge and the Egyptian pyramids, this massive passage tomb is renowned for its intricate astronomical alignment. During the winter solstice, a beam of sunlight penetrates a precisely engineered 39 opening in the roof, illuminating the central chamber for a brief period. Astronomical precision of this event achieved with the knowledge and tools of the Neolithic period is nothing short of astonishing. The construction of Newgrange involved the movement of hundreds of thousands of tons of stone, including massive megalithic slabs, and the meticulous placement of these stones to form a cohesive and enduring structure. The passage, a narrow corridor leading to the central cruciform chamber, is lined with carefully fitted stones, many of which are decorated with intricate megalithic art, spirals, circles, and geometric patterns whose meanings remain debated. While Newgrange is undeniably a burial site with evidence of cremated human remains and grave goods, its profound astronomical orientation and the sheer effort invested in its construction suggest purposes beyond mere interment. The concept of these mounds as gateways or portals to other realms or dimensions, a recurring theme in some esoteric interpretations of ancient sites, finds resonance with the structure of passage tombs like Newgrange. The long, dark passage leading into the heart of the mound can be seen as a symbolic journey, a transition from the card mundane world to a sacred space. The illumination of the inner chamber only at the solstice could represent a periodic reawakening or a connection to celestial energies. Could these mounds therefore have been designed to channel or amplify these energies, or to serve as physical anchors for spiritual practices that aim to interact with the cosmos? The British Isles are replete with other examples of ancient earthworks and mounds that warrant closer scrutiny. The West Kennet Long Barrero in Wiltshire, for example, is another Neolithic chambered tomb with astronomical alignments. Its entrance is oriented towards the spring equinox sunrise, suggesting a similar concern with solar cycles as seen in New Grange. The sheer number of these boreros across the cycle's landscape, often clustered in significant locations, points to a deeply ingrained cultural practice of mound building that spanned millennia and diverse prehistoric cultures. While many have been disturbed by later activity or the ravages of time, the underlying intention behind their construction remains a subject of fascination. Beyond the obvious burial function, consider the possibility of these mounds serving as repositories of knowledge or memory keepers for ancient societies. In cultures without a written tradition, monumental constructions could have served as physical embodiment of collective memory, history, and cosmological understanding. The patterns of decoration on the stones, the precise placement of the mounds within the Agestu 40 landscape, and their astronomical alignments could all have encoded information, narratives, genealogies, astronomical charts, or sacred teachings that were understood by initiates or the community. The concept of the library of stone, where knowledge is inscribed, not in perishable texts, but in the enduring form of the player. Earthwork itself offers a compelling alternative perspective. The potential for interconnectedness between these dispersed earthworks is another avenue of inquiry. Just as the Nazca lines in Peru create a vast geographic map, it is plausible that some ancient European or North American earthworks were designed to be viewed or understood in relation to one another, forming a larger integrated system of monumental geography. The precise placement of mounds and enclosures across the landscape, often in relation to natural features, like rivers, hilltops, or significant geological formations, suggests a conscious mapping of territory that may have had both practical and symbolic dimensions. The engineering prowess required to construct these earthworks, particularly those involving large stones and precise geometric forms, should not be underestimated. The ability to quarry, transport, and position massive stones, often with limited tools and immense human effort, speaks to a high degree of organization, social cohesion, and specialized knowledge. The construction of causeway enclosures, ring, ditches, and henge monuments such as Stonehenge itself involved complex planning and execution. Stonehenge, with its precisely positioned sarsen stones and blue stones transported from considerable distances, is a testament to the engineering capabilities of the Neolithic inhabitants of Britain. Its alignments with the solstices are well established, suggesting a sophisticated understanding of celestial mechanics and a deliberate integration of astronomical observation into its design. The question of why so much effort was expended on these structures beyond the immediate needs of burial or ceremony leads back to the notion of deeper, more multifaceted purposes. If these earthworks were indeed designed to harness or channel energies, to store knowledge, or to serve as portals to other realms, then their construction would have been driven by a profound spiritual or cosmological imperative that transcended the purely utilitarian. This perspective aligns with the growing recognition that ancient societies often operated with a worldview that integrated the material, the spiritual, and the cosmic in ways that are difficult for us to fully grasp with our modern, often secularized perspectives. The ongoing debate surrounding the purpose and construction of these ancient earthworks and burial mounds underscores the limitations of our current 41 understanding. While traditional archaeology provides valuable insights into the poured burial practices, social structures, and daily lives of the peoples who created these monuments, it often struggles to account for the sheer scale, precision, and complexity observed in many of these sites. The possibility that some of these earthworks may have served as more than just tombs or ceremonial spaces, ace entrances to subterranean networks, repositories of forgotten knowledge, or sophisticated instruments for interacting with cosmic energies, invites us to look beyond the conventional and to embrace the potential for deeper, more extraordinary explanations. silent earthen sentinels that dot our landscapes continue to pose profound questions, urging us to reconsider the capabilities and the hidden purposes of our ancient ancestors. The meticulous planning, the astronomical alignments, and the sheer scale of these constructions, whether in North America or Europe, suggest a level of societal organization and technological understanding that continues to challenge our preconceptions about the prehistoric world. The enduring mystery lies not only in how they were built, but in why they were built, hinting at a depth of purpose that may still be waiting to be fully unearthed. The whispers persist, weaving through the tapestry of human folklore and urban legends, tales of beings who dwell not under the sun, but beneath the very earth wet red. These are the stories of the mole people, or a myriad of other names depending on the culture and continent, referring to humanoids or even entire societies said to inhabit vast unseen cities and tunnels deep within the planet's crust. While often dismissed as mere fantasy, a closer examination of these persistent narratives reveals a fascinating undercurrent that may in fact be echoes of a forgotten reality, or at least a deep-seated human fascination with what lies beneath. These accounts, frequently anecdotal and passed down through oral traditions, or whispered in hushed tones in dimly lit taverns, speak of encounters with pale, often blind or near-blind beings adapted to perpetual darkness. Their reported habitats range from abandoned mine shafts and subway systems in modern urban centers to the deepest caverns and ancient underground complexes far from human civilization. The descriptions vary, but common threads emerge. Unusually large eyes or a beaver, complete. Absence thereof, pale or albino skin, elongated limbs, and an aversion to Ver's sunlight. Some accounts even suggest a primitive yet functional civilization possessing knowledge of subterranean ecosystems and perhaps even rudimentary technologies adapted for their unique environment. One cannot approach the subject of mole people without acknowledging the inherent difficulty in verifying such claims. The very nature of their purported 42 existence, hidden from view, operating in environments inimical to surface-dwelling humans, makes empirical evidence exceptionally scarce. Many alleged sightings are relegated to the realm of cryptozoology or fringe theories, often lacking the rigorous documentation expected in mainstream scientific inquiry. Yet the sheer persistence and global spread of these stories suggest that they tap into something profound within the collective human psyche. Could these legends be elaborate metaphors, symbolic representations of primal fears or unconscious desires? Perhaps they speak to our innate trepidation of the unknown, the dark, and the hidden aspects of our own world and ourselves. The underground, after all, has long been associated with the underworld, with death, and with the chthonic forces that lie beneath the veneer of civilization. The mole people could, in this interpretation, be personifications of these fears, dwelling in the liminal spaces of our consciousness. However, to dismiss these narratives entirely as mere metaphor risks overlooking a more tangible, albeit speculative, possibility that these stories are cultural interpretations of encounters with isolated human groups who have, for reasons lost to time, adapted to a subterranean existence. Throughout history, human populations have been forced to seek refuge in caves and underground shelters during times of conflict, environmental catastrophe, or persecution. It is conceivable that over many generations, some of these groups might have developed unique physiological adaptations to prolonged life in darkness, leading to the traits attributed to the spy, legendary, mole people. Consider the various reports from different cultures. In the folklore of Native American tribes, particularly those with ancestral ties to regions rich in caves and underground formations, there are tales of cave dwellers, or beings, who emerged from or retreated into the earth. These narratives often describe them as distinct from their own people, sometimes possessing different physical characteristics and vile cultural practices. While these stories are often interwoven with creation myths and spiritual beliefs, they consistently point to a presence within the earth that is both distinct and ancient. Across the Atlantic, European folklore also contains references to beings who inhabit the subterranean realm. Tales of dwarves and gnomes, often depicted as skilled miners and craftsmen who lived beneath the mountains, share some thematic similarities with the mole people legends. While often portrayed as fantastical creatures of myth, their association with the underground and their mastery of 43 subterranean environments resonate with the concept of a hidden earthbound civilization. In some traditions, these beings are even said to have interacted with humans, sometimes trading knowledge or materials, and sometimes engaging in conflict. More modern accounts, often emerging from urban environments, speak of mole people sighted in abandoned subway tunnels, forgotten service conduits, and extensive sewer systems. These reports, while frequently sensationalized, often detail individuals or small groups who appear to subsist on scavenged resources, evading detection by city authorities and the general public. The commonality of pale skin and enlarged pupils in these modern accounts align with the expected physiological responses to a life spent in perpetual darkness. The question then becomes, are these simply isolated individuals with rare genetic conditions, or are they descendants of a more ancient subterranean population that has adapted to the modern underground infrastructure? The sheer scale of humanized subterranean spaces in the modern era, from vast subway networks to extensive underground bunkers and utility systems, provides a new canvas for these ancient narratives. It is not beyond the realm of possibility that small, isolated human communities could indeed exist within these hidden networks largely undetected. Existence would depend on their ability to remain unseen, to subsist without external reliance, and to maintain a degree of social cohesion in an environment that is alien to most of humanity. However, the enduring power of the mole people narrative may also be rooted in something far more ancient than modern urban development. Many of the sites previously discussed in this chapter, the megalithic structures, the vast ancient earthworks, the hidden cities, often possess subterranean components or are situated in locations with known underground cave systems. Could the legends of mole people be a cultural memory of an ancient civilization that genuinely inhabited vast subterranean cities? If such a civilization existed and its populations dwindled or retreated deeper into the earth, it is plausible that their memory would persist in folklore morphing over millennia into the tales of hidden dwellers. The notion of an ancient advanced subterranean civilization is, of course, highly speculative. Yet the persistent presence of these legends, often tied to specific geographical locations known for geological anomalies or extensive cave systems, invites contemplation. Are we to assume that all these disparate tales are simply products of overactive imaginations, or could they be fragmented recollections of a Zolde 44, tangible, albeit largely unseen aspect of human history? Perhaps the mole people are not necessarily a distinct species, but rather a branch of humanity that at some distant point in the past made a conscious or forced decision to retreat from the surface world. Environmental pressures, celestial events, or societal upheavals could have driven populations underground, where over countless generations they developed adaptations to their unique environment. Pale skin and altered vision are logical outcomes of such a transition. Their technology, if any, would likely be focused on survival in the subterranean realm. Advanced understanding of geology, acoustics, bioluminescence, and perhaps even energy sources derived from geothermal activity or unknown subterranean phenomena. The folklore often hints at a level of intelligence and organization beyond that of mere reclusive hermits. The concept of entire cities or established communities suggests a societal structure, a shared culture, and a continuity of knowledge. If such societies existed, their interactions with the surface world would likely have been rare and clandestine, further fueling the mystique and the legends. Imagine the impact of a brief, bewildering encounter with such beings on an unsuspecting ancient hunter or traveler. Such an event passed down through generations could easily evolve into a content-compelling myth. Furthermore, the interpretation of some ancient earthworks and mounds as potential entrances to subterranean realms takes on a new significance when considered alongside the Mole People legends. If these mounds were indeed constructed by surface-dwelling cultures as markers or access points to underground systems, could they also have served as a means of contact with, or a way of acknowledging, a subterranean population? The astronomical alignments and geometric precision of these structures suggest a profound understanding of the cosmos and the Earth. Could this understanding have extended to the knowledge of, and perhaps even interaction with, beings who lived within the Earth? The challenge, of course, lies in distinguishing between genuine cultural memory and pure imaginative embellishment. Without verifiable physical evidence, the Mole People remain firmly within their realm of legend and speculation. Yet the power of these stories across diverse cultures and time periods suggests that they are not easily dismissed. They represent a persistent thread in the human narrative, a testament to our fascination with the hidden, the unknown, and the possibility that our world is far more complex and populated than we readily perceive. 45. The Mole. People may not be flesh and blood beings waiting in the darkness, but their stories serve as a vital reminder of the limitations of our knowledge. Encourage us to look beyond the obvious, to question conventional explanations, and to consider the possibility that our ancient ancestors may have possessed a deeper understanding of the planet and its hidden dimensions than we currently credit them with. The Earth beneath our feet is vast and largely unexplored, and within its depths perhaps lie answers to questions that have haunted humanity for millennia. Persistence of the Mole People myth might well be a subtle, enduring clue pointing towards a reality that has yet to be fully uncovered, a testament to the possibility of civilizations flourishing in realms beyond our dull comprehension, hinting at a subterranean heritage that remains tantalizingly out of reach, yet persistently present in our collective imagination and ancestral lore. 46. Chapter 3. Unseen Earth. Scientific explorations of the subterranean. The planet we inhabit is a terrestrial marvel, a sphere of land and water teeming with life and sculpted by unimaginable forces. Yet for all our cartographic efforts, our satellite imagery and our deep-sea probes, the majority of our world remains a tame, profound enigma. The vast majority of this enigma lies not in the oceans or the atmosphere, but in the hidden architecture of the Earth's crust, the subterranean realm. While we have charted the peaks of the highest mountains and plumbed the depths of the deepest trenches, the sheer scale of the unexplored cave systems that honeycomb our planet is a statistic that humbles even the most seasoned explorers. These are not mere holes in the ground. They are intricate, three-dimensional labyrinths, often extending for hundreds, even thousands of kilometers, sculpted over eons by processes that are as awe-inspiring as they are destructive. The genesis of these subterranean cathedrals is primarily rooted in the slow, persistent power of water. In geological terms, these formations are often classified as karst landscapes, a term derived from the Karst Plateau in Slovenia, a region famed for its extensive limestone caves. Karst topography develops in soluble rocks, most commonly limestone, but also dolomite, gypsum, and salt. The process begins with rainwater, which as it falls through the atmosphere, absorbs carbon dioxide, reaching the ground and percolating through soil. this carbonic acid becomes more potent. This slightly acidic water then encounters the bedrock and the slow inexorable process of dissolution commences. Carbonic acid reacts with calcium. Carbonate, the primary mineral in limestone, to form calcium bicarbonate. A soluble salt over geological time scales tens of thousands to millions of years. This seemingly insignificant chemical reaction carves out pathways, widens fractures, and enlarges existing cavities, gradually transforming solid bedrock into vast interconnected networks of tunnels, chambers, and shafts. The sheer magnitude of this geological sculpting is difficult to comprehend. Consider the sheer volume of rock that must be dissolved and transported by groundwater to create a cave system of significant size. Each drop of water carries with it, and a fever, infinite decimal, amount of dissolved rock, but multiplied by billions of drops over millennia. The erosive power becomes immense. This process is particularly prolific in regions with thick sequences of soluble rock and adequate rainfall, leading to the formation of some of the most extensive cave systems known to humanity. Beyond the more common limestone caves, other geological processes contribute to the subterranean tapestry. Volcanic activity, for instance, creates a different class